can't be saying that right before we hit record, dude.
I didn't say anything.
And if you want to know what he said before we hit record, go to our Patreon. Yeah.
Give me $20.
That we don't have. What's up, everybody? This is another episode of On the Back Cash for Seb, Will, and Chris, and Zach. It's Debbie week.
It is.
Woo!
It has arrived.
It's here.
Spin and drop everything.
Drop it
Wait a second.
Drop the orange slice on your way out, too.
Everything. Somebody fall down the ramp. Suing.
Oh, no. Oh, you talk about that ramp, the UD ramp. I looked, and from 2 years ago, they did a ramp cam.
Yeah.
At UD.
Oh, you know why they did.
And you can just see, and that's basically what it was. It just live streamed people going up and down the ramp. And luckily, we were one of those groups that performed in UD Arena that year. So I found us, and I don't know, it was like, what are we doing?
Struggling to hold that marimba up.
Struggling, going veering to the side.
Why are we like this?
Trying to not get run over.
Everybody else is all orderly, and we're like, oh yeah, push.
Hey, who's got the rack? Tick, 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 tick. Just rolling past everybody.
Goes back on the floor for somebody else.
Out into somebody else's performance.
You just gave them 8 points of GE. Good job.
We did sound good behind the curtain, though. That was good. That was kind of cool. But yeah, we've been good. We don't have to go up and down the ramp anymore because they put us in a nutter. But we do have to travel to Mojave Desert to get to.
Yeah. About to say, it ain't like it's down the street.
It's a little bit of it's a rocky push, but we'll get there. But yeah, it's a guard championship week. Starting tomorrow from the time we post this.
And it will last 17 days
Oh,
just to get through
it's
Scholastic A.
Listen, they crammed. Well, they got an extra arena, or maybe two.
They have two, I'm pretty sure.
They do.
Yeah.
See, their performances are at UD, Wright State, Xavier University, Northern Kentucky, and the Dayton Convention Center. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 venues.
They're like the entire Southeast Ohio, like starting in Northern Kentucky and then all the way across. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
They're going to have to start putting extra tents out in the lot for these cadet guards to have a place to go.
Yeah.
Because there's 7,000.
Well, they don't have cadets guard. That's the thing. That's the thing. You better be glad they don't have cadet guards.
That's what I'm saying. They don't toss anyway.
Well, some of them. Listen, there's some
say that now.
that changed that last
Hell,
week.
there's probably some third grade class somewhere that could be
You say that now.
whooping tail in Scholastic A. It's like that middle school that's in world class, independent world.
In world class.
They're going to get promoted.
Listen, who knows with them? So
ridiculous.
But yeah, so we'll kind of give a little preview about that in this episode too. But I do feel like we do have some major news in the pageantry arts world came down a couple of weeks ago. Of course we've been on spring break and we've had a lot of stuff going on, so we weren't able to get to it right when it happened. But as you guys probably know, the cadets are no longer. They sent out a social media blast talking about how the organization as a whole is no longer going to exist. They filed for bankruptcy officially with all of that stuff going on. And I think we kind of saw the writing on the wall when about a month or two previous to that, we learned that they weren't coming out for the 2024 competitive season. And speculations already started swirling and things of that nature. I know I heard from some folks that are around the activity as well that that's just the tip of the iceberg, that it's going to be a little bit more. Chris, you have the statement. You mind giving us a synopsis of that?
Yeah, it is rather lengthy. If you go to their Twitter or Facebook or just go to cadets.org, it's pretty much everywhere. there. It's literally like 4, 6, 7 paragraphs, something like that. Insane. But the gist of it is they're filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And the whole reason that they give for why this happened, they say, quote, among other factors, but there's unquote, but there's a huge lawsuits that was filed back in 2020 is what it says there, after this new organization was formed. So when the Cadets Arts and Entertainment was formed, a sexual abuse lawsuit was filed against them for something that happened in 1982. And they kind of go into detail about what was going on, that they say they tried to resolve the case. They defended the case. But then one of the main reasons why they had to file for bankruptcy is because the insurance carrier that Cadets Arts and Entertainment has rejected their coverage to pay for the defense costs in court, or pay for a settlement, I guess pretty much is what they said. They also try to say that all that no fees or donations or anything that was brought up was ever used for the defense of that, but that this case gave them too much financial strain, and pretty much led it to the point where they needed to file for bankruptcy. And because of that, Cadets pretty much can't ever exist anymore, because if they did, then the whole issues that are going on now get reinvigorated and brought back up. So I know that, I don't know if you guys pay attention, anytime like a company files bankruptcy, is to if there's like a large legal case that happens, it helps them kind of reorganize their finances to almost, like a better term, get out of the big financial hardships that company would have if they still existed. So that's kind of what it looks like that they are doing there. One thing that they did say is that they will have volunteers to keep doing alumni events and social activities for them. And they said they'll still have the Hall of Fame coming back in 2025 after this year. And then they kind of thank all their sponsors, all that kind of stuff there. Erie, Pennsylvania, all that kind of stuff, and kind of wrap it up from there. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Like I said, the statement is on their website, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook. I'm sure you can find it anywhere. But this has brought in a lot of, before we transition and you guys can talk, but this has brought in a lot of heat from social media about kind of how they approached it and that kind of stuff there. So it's been kind of a hot topic on social media the last week or so. So there you go.
For social media could be such a great thing, and it's funny that we're doing not to bring this back to me by any means, but it's funny that we're doing a show about this type of stuff. But it could be such a great thing, but instead of people using it to properly inform themselves, they use it more to get their point across, to try to get validation, to try to. There's so much stuff that's probably happening to lead to this decision that I really, for me personally, it's like I don't even know how much to comment on it, because we don't even know. We just know what they told us. We don't know how much other stuff contributed to to this. I know, Will, you said you saw some stuff that you were like, it was probably a good thing we waited 2 weeks to talk about it because, but I think people, they hear bits and pieces and then they themselves fill in the rest of the picture instead of like really talking, which I know you can't talk to like somebody from the cadets or, anything like that, but like instead of getting like the information, because, even they spilled it out, they said all of this stuff, and there are going to be people that are still like, well, they're just saying this because this, and this, and this. They're trying to hide stuff.
Well, they people take what they want and they run with it.
Yeah.
That's with any topic, politics, religion, drum corps, whatever. It could be about Little Debbie cakes, and people are going to take it and run with it with whatever their opinion is or their view of how they read it or see it. But yeah, I mean, it's it's just kind of sad because they're one of the most historic and big name groups, and it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, and here's the issue. It's like, even for those that are on social media and they're saying their little piece and stuff like that, it's like, go ahead, let's assume everything they said is true, like 100% true. Say even we were on staff and we know that is true. This is something that 100% could destroy a group. Like, the legal system in cases like this can go on for decades. People don't seem to understand that. They look at say, oh, it's from 1980, and what that mean? What that mean? So this very well could have dented their pockets majorly. It costs what, millions to run a group?
Yeah.
So you're talking about trying to do an entire season with that going on? No, sir. And then also they have in clause, amongst other things. We may not know what those other things are, but you're telling me you're dealing with that and trying to run a tour amongst other things? That's too much for anybody. But the problem with social media is you got too many people going on here trying to blame and say, you got people trying to say that, oh, well, this girl or whoever it is trying to come up, and now people are going to ruin groups, and that was their clause or their purpose of doing this. Like, what are you talking about? Because they think that, okay, what if another group, like, I don't know, Crossman or somebody, says a girl comes out of nowhere, says I was sexually abused or something like this, and they're saying, oh, well, now you're just trying to come forward so you can take down another group or blah, blah, this. I was like, can we stop being idiots for at least one moment, please? Because let me tell you something right now. When it comes to a sexual assault or anything like this, I don't care who you are. I don't care what group it is. I don't care if you're a football team. You're done. There's nothing, there's no group, there's no sports, there's no nothing above anything that cause harm or violence to another human being. And that's the issue, that the problem that we have as just humans in general. And to sit here and try to defend it, it's like people are saying, oh, well, the girl did this and this, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting up here like, what did George do? We're not gonna mention none of that. If none of this even happened, there are other high schools that have gone on notice that people have done stuff, that have been in trouble and turmoil and all kinds of things. People always, and you got a lot of people out here with the audacity to try to blame the girl or these other people or whatever coming up from so long ago, and now this is happening. Oh, they're trying to ruin the cadet, but y'all ain't talking nothing about him and what he did. What if he had done that to begin with? Will we be here today? So it's a cycle of stuff, but people will only fixate on certain things. And then a lot of people are saying all this stuff. Well, why couldn't cadets do what SEV did? What who else was it? Spirit and all these. Are you kidding me?
Spirit was forced to not do anything.
Like, and this is completely different. And they already said in quotes or whatever, amongst other things. The amongst other things could be what SEV and them went through. COVID. all of that. You can throw all that into the pot maybe. But you're talking like this by itself is enough to destroy any drum corps out there, period. If that's what we're assuming that's what they're went through and what they're going through, that's enough.
I think a lot of people on social media, you have that one side, and then I think cadets did not do themselves any favors with how the statement was organized. I think, because a lot of people are accusing them of victim blaming, right? Saying like, because of this case, this is why. I'm like, well, here's the thing. It's been going on since 1982, and this cloud has been over the cadets for a long time, right? Yeah. And there's some things we haven't even heard of that has been going on, with, George and all that kind of stuff there. And like, it's just, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like cadets could have, the statement could have provided a different way of doing it, because really they only have one piece in here where they say they're compassionate to anyone who has experienced assault in any form. Yes, but then you go on to say the whole reason why we have to shut down is because we have to go bankruptcy because of this case, and we can't get it settled, we can't get it dismissed. I think that's a lot of fire coming from people too, and I think it's justified.
It is. But the problem with that is everybody else's interpretation of that as well, because you can't interpret that as victim blaming, because that's a legitimate reason and response. Because let's say it is. They say up here, cadets can't come. We are having to fold the group, and we no longer come out because of what happened in COVID. Ain't not a single soul finna believe that. And that was it. Because everybody's going to say, no, there's something else. There has to be something else. There's no way that that's the only reason why. No, so they give you, amongst other things, and then they tell you the big dagger. So the ones who are saying, oh, it's victim blaming, no, it's not. They're literally telling you, because if not, everybody and their mom been sitting up here talking about, it could have, this can't be the reason.
Leave it open to more speculation about what it was.
Even more speculation.
Yeah.
So those who are trying to say this is victim blaming, because there's lots of posts out there that are doing that. You're reading that and forcing yourself to believe that's what that is. And that has nothing to do with that.
Because, the cadets is a stalwart in the DCI organization. And when you see a group like that have to fold, fandom runs deep, man. And we talk about this in sports. Fanatic, is the word. Fan is a short word for fanatic. So people that are upset about cadets in a more maybe mentally damaging way. Yeah. I don't know how else to put that. Or we'll try to figure out, well, what can we really blame this on? Like, what, instead of just thinking rationally, because and I think it's a good thing that we did have 2 weeks between this episode and announcements, because it gave us time to think, and it gave us time to gather information and to rationalize our thoughts, because a lot of people will just read and immediately react. They feel like they have to say something.
Yep.
And no, just in general in life, that is a bad thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Read it, gather information, step back, and then read it again. And then read it again.
Then read it again.
Yeah, and think about it from everybody's angle, before you just throw yourself out there. And because
I just didn't like how they used this, like Chris said, the whole victim blaming excuse, and then say, what if the case happens to another group or something, blah blah blah, everybody's gonna do this. And I'm sitting here like, y'all are not understanding. There's no one drum corps. There's no one sports team, group, function, nobody above what happened. And it sucks that they just couldn't get it settled. But as he said before, it's a major amount of money coming out. And I take any one of y'all to try to deal with something like that and see how you come out in the end. See how your funds and your pockets come out, because that's tough.
And in case anybody doesn't know, whenever something like this happens, whether it's an organization, especially in an organization or even in a school or anything like that, the amount of investigation that has to take place to make sure that that claim is liable.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not, and they find that it's not, that's whoever made that claim's in a lot of trouble. So they're going to make sure they get it right.
Worse.
They're going to make sure they get it right. So it's not one of these, you know, if people are saying it, they're going to do their research. They're going to make sure that things happen the way it was said that was going to happen. So yeah, it sucks, and it I just hate that for some people, this happening lets other people's agenda about what's wrong with DCI kind of flare up, because that the cadets situation is for the most part an anomaly. Like this doesn't, like you said, apparently this has been happening for years. You know, that's 42 years in the making.
Well,
and
as
winning,
that we know of, it
I
could
will
have
say,
happened
I
prior
will,
to then. It could
I
have
will
been
say, I
happening
will
prior
say
to then.
asterisk that, like, I mean, I don't know if I would say
Reported
it's, yeah,
since.
I wouldn't say it's an anomaly. I mean, now the whole George thing, it might be, you know, but like, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of things that come to light that, you know, we might not have seen, or I mean, we've had some things that have popped up throughout last season of things that have gone on, not just instructors, but like core member to core member, you know, things that of interactions, things that have gone on there. This is what I think is cadets are the first one that had a figurehead like that. All this stuff kind of come down. So I don't know. I do think though also that, I mean, it's alleged and there's no in the trial and all that kind of stuff, so they can't be found. You know, they can't really say anything, but like, I mean, you have to address the elephant in the room a little bit sometimes, you know, of like why this situation has occurred. You know, why are we here to begin with? You know, like I think it would have gone a long way for some people if it would have came out saying that like the structures that were in place led to these things being able to occur, you know, whether they did or not, you know, which we know the George Hopkins stuff, that all kind of, we all have that stuff, but you know, I do think they could have brought a little bit more humility to it. I will say that, but
I mean, it's tough.
yeah,
it's tough, and I don't think I don't know how you could have worded it. Cause I get what you're saying with the optics. If you're on the first read, it doesn't look. But how else do you say what happened without saying what happened?
I think just acknowledging that what has transpired through cadets history, you know, could have went a little bit. Not now. I will say this: I don't think you're not. No matter what they put out, was never going to satisfy anything. But it, you know, unless they just said, "No, we believe they did it." Blah blah blah. If they believe that, then they wouldn't be defending it in court. You know what I mean? So like it was kind of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of things. But I think a little bit more compassion in there would have helped a little bit. But like I said, I don't think it didn't matter what was said. I think it was lined up for people to tee off on. So,
but probably I was gonna say probably being honest though with that. Yes, more compassion would have been good, but that would have, and if they're defending it, then showing that compassion may have give the illusion of guilt.
Yeah,
I agree. No, I
Like
agree with you.
there's
Yeah, you're
this
right.
this was going to be too hard to word on any
It's
level.
There's no good
It,
way
it,
to go
no,
about it.
it's not.
and they gave the information most needed for the main reason of what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. The issue, the most issue is I look back and listen and read all these other posts and just say to myself, it's like y'all are going to make, if this happens to some other group, somebody scared to speak up
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to label them the reason why this group is dead or something like this or whatever, because of how people are
Reacting to
perceiving things. Because everybody's going to read what and how they want. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, a lot of people skipped over the whole thing that's in like the first 3 lines of amongst other things and decided to talk about all the other stuff when you just read it said other things as to the reason why this happened. So yes, this is the main thing because we're giving you the logistical main thing, but you're not going to, like I said earlier, you're not going to believe us if we said it was because of COVID. So we're giving you the dog dirty to your face. This is what happened. And I said, this is all theory. This is theoretical. If we're saying if it's a what if or maybes, these are the questions everybody would have been asking anyways. And this is a case like this in general is going to be tough to even try to put out or to try to word or try to say anything about it. But the thing that just never sat with me on most of these posts that I kept seeing is everybody trying to blame this and say this about other groups and all this other stuff. I was like, y'all sound like complete idiots right now.
Mm-hmm.
That you're trying to defect and try to scare other people to say, hey, I've been abused in this organization. But I don't want to say anything because I know if I do, then the organization might, go bankrupt or have to fold or something if I
Those
speak up.
those people have spent enough time scared to say something. You talking about
Thank you.
1982? That's over 40 years. Like,
And think about the legal system then compared to what it is now. So
This is also where I think it's already been put in motion, but this is where DCI really has to step up its safety and their I guess whistleblower protection.
it's coming.
Yeah, like I said, I know it's about to be there, but like it has, like we can't have people afraid to speak out against any incidences where they are a victim of something just because they're afraid of, like what Will's talking about, of people attacking them for going against the corps that they love, or they march with them, or it was an instructor that they liked. Like it that has to be something. And I remember, I think we talked about this, I think last year, about what was happening with that, but like they have to get it in, they have to get that structure, and it has to happen. Like I feel like, that this person, like Zach was saying, waited that long to finally say something. It's hard. Like I've never been in that position, so I don't know what it feels like to be like that, and that's a whole other different time period in the 80s, like where, that stuff a little bit more rampant and a lot hush hush going on now, like I really hope, with the safety aspect of DCI, that they really push that hard and they hold these corps accountable for
mm-hmm.
the things that happen. That way things like George doesn't last for how long it does, that where people don't feel like they're untouchable because they have this power and, they're part of this board, and, they've got all this success to this corps and all this kind of stuff, like I really hope that's one of the big things that they're really gonna have to make sure that they focus on is, do we provide a safe environment for every corps member, regardless if it's about anything, right? It could be sexual nature, it can be physical in nature, identity in nature, whatever it is. People have to feel comfortable about being in this sport or this activity. And because I mean, it's a crazy activity. You think, like, you go from April, May, and all the way through August, and you're with these people all the time. And there are a lot of places that you can be vulnerable a lot of time here. So like, not only I guess DCI, but also the courts have to hold themselves accountable as well, and making sure like these things run well. I think that's why, knock on wood, right now, everyone loves going to the Blue Coats because the organizations run well. People feel welcome. It's a safe environment for them to be in. I just think that accountability has to be such a big part of this. That way, we're not waiting until 1982, 40 years later or whatever it is, uh, to finally get something like this taken care of. And now we have a core gone because of it. You know what I mean? Like that, like this stuff has to be taken care of a lot faster. So hopefully that's put in this year. That way we can get this going. I'll get off my soapbox now.
It'll trickle down. If DCI comes up with something, some kind of clause or statement, law system, then it goes down to the cores.
Yeah.
And
Without saying too much, there are systems and organizations being put in place for both DCI and WGI to address things of this nature.
Mm-hmm.
Which blows my mind that it's taken this long to do. Like, it's crazy.
But it sucks because it sucks because it follows human nature. Don't do nothing until something happens.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be proactive.
It's like, even though we're still going to wait until something bad happens, right? Okay. But.
Well, okay. I want to be careful saying that because I don't want this to seem like WGI and or DCI have knew of something and has turned a blind eye to it. I don't.
No.
I want to put that out. I just want to throw that out there because somebody could take that and be like, oh, so DCI knew, and
exactly.
No, a lot of that stuff was in house in the core, and it just never got out.
Mm-hmm.
They kept it in house. So I don't. Yeah, I just want to put that out there. But now but since things have come to light, the two organizations are doing things and making plans to make sure that the people that are working with these students who are high quality people who are there for the right reasons. So, gonna be sad to see the cadets go. This kind of missed them because they were coming back. They were doing all of the good things and being the cadets that we remember. And it just kind of sucks that it has to end like that. I don't think it's there are some people thinking, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, DCI's going to crumble to the ground. It was like, this is what organizations come and go. And remember, there's a new CEO. We don't know.
That's a whole other thing. Like this, like
people are but once again, and we'll get off of this because we need to talk about championships this week. But there are people that are using this instance with the cadets, talking about how DCI is about to disappear, and it's just like, stop using other people's demise for your own agenda.
Exactly.
Not everything in this world is interconnected.
Yeah.
Some things are isolated. So.
Before we shift gears to WGI talk, keeping it in DCI, there's some kind of exciting news out of Phantom Regiment recently. Their spring training location's going to be right down the road at Kentucky Wesleyan College. So that's not too far from us, and it's up in Owensboro and Bowling Green. It's not that far, so we could drive up and catch us some spring training if they'll let us in to watch or listen. So that's exciting. And it says that it's a beautiful campus and hopefully the start of a long partnership. So that could become their new, their hub for years. I think Bluecoats have been at Indiana Wesleyan for a few years as well now.
I think so.
Why are you giving me that look, Chris? Oh, you're
uh,
there. I can see the stank face.
Check your chat. So, we're going to kind of shift to WGI. We'll talk about Debbie. We got World Championships coming up. So we're just going to kind of give like our favorites and, kind of some groups to look out for as we go into the week. If things work out, we may do a watch party Saturday night for World Championships for World Class. I just got to make sure I'm home in time. We should at least be able to do the world groups, the independent world groups. Well, who goes on second this time? They switch it every year. I can't look at the schedule.
Which one? Prelim?
Who's
Finals. So
Finals?
Saturday night. Because sometimes they put the independent first, and sometimes they put Scholastic first.
Scholastic World goes on first.
Okay.
Independent World.
So we might be able to just depend on what time. If I get home in time, then we'll do.
First group goes 5:30.
Woo, that's 4:30 our time. So, but yeah, we'll probably if anything, what time's the first independent world group?
Say it's first time in Independent World.
Yeah.
Midnight
8:30.
Thursday. Just kidding.
8:30.
So that's 7:30. So we'll catch at least some of the independent world guards. So I'll be on. I know Will, you had talked about maybe joining me if anybody else wants to. Have a good old time watching this the Toilet 12s.
Testing everybody out.
Right? Just everybody being awesome. So, it's kind of looking through some stuff. Some Scholastic A guards to look out for. Right now, seated number 1 in Scholastic A would be Lockport Township. Most recent score was 91.27 at their last regional. So that's a pretty good number. Other groups to kind of look out for: Arlington High School out of New York, Kettering Fairmont out of Ohio, Holly Springs, Lafayette is sitting 5th in the seating right now.
Okay.
88.165 at their last regional. So those are kind of some top 5s to kind of look at. I believe they take the top 15, but it is a gauntlet in Scholastic A. I believe there are over 100 groups that are competing.
Jeez.
100.
How do you even judge that? Like, at
You
some
group
point they
them
just
and you try your best.
like at some point they would all just look the same to me.
So there are several rounds for Scholastic A. There are, I believe, 12 rounds. So I think after a judges a couple of rounds, there's 11. So I believe that's independent A. That's 6. Okay, wait a minute. All right. So anyway, so after a couple of rounds, yeah, after a couple of rounds, they will rotate. Give the judges breaks. Actually, no, one panel judge for the entire class. Good God Almighty, pray for them.
For Scholastic A.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
So they're split in 2 arenas.
Wait, say what now?
Okay, so there are 12 rounds of Scholastic A. 6 of them are in one arena, and the other 6 are in a different arena, and there's one panel for each arena. So
No, thank you.
They're judging about 55 guards a
I
piece.
Ooh, boy,
So it's
I'm gonna have Netflix on my tablet.
see, boy,
Talking about some. Y'all need to spin together. Ain't this about a?
ain't even watching. So yeah, so now they do, and if you're interested on how they schedule these things, because the seating does have a factor, but you can go to the WGI.org website and where their rankings were for color guard. If you go there, instead of a rankings, it'll tell you how they schedule the groups and how it's seated. So they kind of put better groups towards the back end of the round.
Mm-hmm.
They so it's a little easier to kind of delineate some stuff. And what I found interesting is if there are two groups that are tied as they're seating, they will put those two groups in the same round. They won't split them.
Ooh. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah. So it's a gauntlet. Like I've said this a few times on here. If you win Scholastic A in color guard, you are truly a champion.
You might be the biggest one.
Yeah, you really need the biggest.
You fought the hardest.
Yeah. They had to say you were better than 109 other groups.
In one shining moment.
Shout out to UConn.
That's what we need to do in
Man.
WGI. We need to have a March Madness style bracket, head to head.
That would take forever.
Oh no, that'd be great.
Would cry.
True champion.
Yep, people be running their show like 30 times. I'm so tired.
Oh my
Spin it! Oh God, it was so...
There's nothing left of my silk. It's gone. All it is pole and tape.
Toss that 45. Okay.
We can't fold our floor anymore. It's dead.
Yeah, that floor is all worn out from being folded 15 times.
Everybody brings their own little square and just lays it down where it's supposed to go.
Every single prop is broke. Everybody's prop.
And don't even start on the TVs.
That's
We
a
can wait
drum.
until next week for that one.
Yeah, that's a drum line. Moving on to Independent A, your top seed right now is Georgia State University. They're sitting with 90.875 in their last regional, and it's actually a pretty good big gap over the rest of the group as far as regional scores are concerned. Nora Independent sits second, Opus Independent third, Pegasus eighth, and Vox Artorium A, a couple of A-class feeders, both sitting fourth. So some other groups, Origins A, Chorus, Les Eclipse, Gold, Winterguard. So got some battles going in there. They have currently 25 groups that have popped the 80 mark. So could be some really, really good stuff happening out of Independent A. So watch out for that. There's a bunch of them too. See, there's 65 Independent A groups. So yeah, lots of guarding happening. In Scholastic Open right now, your top seed going in is Centerville High School, but right behind them was Oviedo. I think that's how you pronounce that. Oviedo High School, 87.3 to 87.255.
Dang.
Yeah. So some really
Look at that 6, 7, 8 gap. Or, well, hell, 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8. Good night.
So you got 4 and 5. So you have 3 Marcus at third, and then 4 and 5 Ayala and Northmont, 86.2, 86.05. So that's close. And then we're talking about 6, 7, 8 Shenandoah High School, Dobbins Bennett, and Noblesville, 85.15, 85.05, 85.05. So Dobbins Bennett, if that thing holds true to what he's saying, Dobbins Bennett and Noblesville will be in the same round, going head to head.
Put Shenandoah in there too. Hell,
So
put them all in there.
And not too far under that, Palm Desert Charter Middle School.
Let's go.
middle school. Okay. Sitting seated 11th right now. So lots of firepower in open class.
I'm calling it. Calling it.
What are you
They will
calling?
be top 10.
Okay.
Oof.
Listen,
No
Put
prediction.
it in my DraftKings right now.
All right, do it. You can already bet on next year's NCAA champions. So.
God.
Can you imagine that hit
they
being this
waited
early?
for double zeros and they immediately posted.
Immediately.
And
So, who did I say was the favorite last night? I forgot.
To
It
repeat
wasn't.
or for next season?
For next season.
Duke.
Duke, yeah. I was at Duke's.
Yeah, I think it was Duke. I think that's what it was. Independent Open, your number one seed going into this sounds like March Madness, like for real. Like your number one seed in the blah 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 bracket.
In the stores region.
Navote Performance Ensemble sitting up top, 88.7, not too far behind them. Alta Maria, 88.
I knew you were going to do that. Like I was in my head. I was like, Zach's about to sing this.
Third, Georgia, but it just says Georgia. I don't think that's right. I think that's Paramount Open. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. And then Collage sitting fourth, I Squared fifth. And then some other notables. Pegasus Open sitting ninth, Tampa Independent Open sitting eighth. Those scores are super tight too. We're talking 40, 85, 84-9, 84-8, 84-3, 84-3, 84-2. So all of this could just flip on its head.
Well, yeah, some of them groups ain't been out in a couple weeks too.
Yeah.
So
this is true too. Between circuit championships and things like that, those scores aren't included in the seeding. So a lot of things could have happened.
So that's what's scary about WGI is that like with people doing their local circuits, like you've got a week, almost 2 weeks before you see anyone ever again. And like the amount of improvement that you can get in 2 weeks, like, I mean, it can really shake some stuff out. Now, the problem is that if you're seated too low, it's hard for you to get up there. But I mean, if you lay one down,
yeah,
you could. You could.
Yeah, I set the standard.
It's happened.
got to be memorable.
Yeah,
that part.
Yeah. Yep. Don't let them forget you. All right, Scholastic World.
Jesus, this I can't wait. I can't wait.
No point talking about nobody else, but.
Huh? What'd you say?
He's drinking some water. You got it.
Okay. So number one right now, Avon, 94.05. So hey, I mean, they're trying to score. They're trying to score 150. They're just trying. Arcadia sitting second, and then Tarpon Springs is third. That gap's a little wide between those three. I think that's going to shore up something.
It's going to shrink.
I think it's going to close the gap.
No shot.
Carmel fourth right now, and Warren Central fifth. And then Ordom Nobles, Fisher 6, El Dorado 7, Northview 8, Bellbrook 9, The Woodlands 10. So
I give top 4 90s.
Top 4 90s?
I would like to say that Woodlands, the last time they were out was week 3. So
yeah. And that's the last time they were out as far as So a lot of these scores, some of these groups will probably have broken 90 in their circuits. I would assume, because if you're finishing out high regionals with numbers that big, especially at 85-3 in the third week, like the Woodlands have, I'm pretty sure you're kind of doing the right thing in a lot of different areas. So, but so many notable names. There's 24 in the class. I'll take the top 15. So, and there's 20 out of the 25 who have broken 80 at a regional. So they're world class for a reason. And
still check out that Flanagan and Miamisburg show. Don't let some of these groups that may be looking like they scoring low don't think that their shows don't suck. Like, you got some good stuff going on.
Yeah. The gap is so wide of, skill sets. It's, and there's just some groups that are just doing it consistently throughout the entire thing. And in Independent World right now, Paramount has the 1 seed, 93.725. Basic Sacrament right behind them, 93.25. Fusion,
Tight.
yeah, super tight. The third, 92.65. And then a little bit of gap, Etude 4. Fantasia 5. Juxtaposition, probably one of my favorite shows of the season so far.
Coolest intro ever.
Right.
Like holy pre-show.
88.75. Onyx, I really like that show too.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
It's gotten so much better.
Yeah. I think, like I said last time, the yellow floor pops, makes things pop so much more. So, and then you got Origins, Tampa Independent, Icon. What I love, AMP, is that,
Put him with the middle school top 10.
You okay?
I'm gonna put it in a parlay.
You're going to put it in the parlay.
AMP? So you said AMP?
Yeah,
Yep.
AMP. Because they're sitting 12th right now.
I think they got that. I think they.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some shifts, shifts happen. So, but yeah, just a lot of good groups to watch out. Listen, Light Brigade, yeah, they're down there. They won't make finals. However, they are highly entertaining. So make
And
sure.
that's what's crazy about it, man. Everybody gets so fixated because we say this about DCI with the open class all the time, and the lower groups. Don't sleep on them, man. The shows are great. It's just execution is a thing.
Yeah.
But that don't take away from concept and idea and just performance in general.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some crazy shows down here, man. That just ain't scoring well, but
So
AMP they're gonna lose their minds on AMP.
yeah, AMP's. I think that number's going to bump up. I really do. I think that number's going to bump. It'd be nice to see if Lexus can make a push to finals in world class. That'd be cool. So Kentucky guard in finals in world class. But I love seeing some names that I'm not used to seeing up towards the top. Fusion, Juxtaposition, Icon, Varxardium, Mirage, Malachi, like all these groups that are on the fringe. It's really, really cool to see some different
Box is
names
good.
pop up into what's going on. I'm sorry, I just read the chat. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to watching if I could get away. Well, I mean, I could get away with it because I know how to. But maybe try to catch some guards during school on Thursday and Friday. Because I've used that before, especially drum lines. Which how do I do it in drum lines when I'm actually up there? That's dumb. Well, BOA I've shown some groups before. And I've watched some guards. I've had it on the TV. And I might show it this week, especially since we're trying to do some recruitment for color guard for a school. I might be like, hey, pretty stuff. So, but it's a big weekend. If you have flow,
We got flow.
We sure got. I'll watch that show.
We should do a react to that.
Oh my god, it would be hilarious, and
You got to start somewhere.
you do have to start somewhere. We have come a long way in, I guess, 16 years. This is either year 16 or 17. I've lost count. But if you watch just this weekend, it will pay for your flow marching subscription.
Yep. There's so much.
There's so much happening, and it's happening all day. So if you can't catch the stuff during the day, there's going to be stuff all night that's happening on both nights. And then A class finals will be Friday night for Scholastic and Independent. Open class finals are Saturday morning and afternoon, and then world class finals will be Saturday evening. So you can catch it all. And like I said, lots of good shows happening. And like I said, hopefully we'll do that watch party, and you can come hang out with us and watch some guards, and watch Will freak out over AMP Because he's gonna do it.
I'll
He's
be
trying.
all
He's
right.
trying to. Just the word "amp" gets him amped. Just it's the thing.
I mean, last couple times on the podcast, we've had to like almost make some people's eardrums bleed because every time we say amp, Will shouts through his microphone. Miles as
It's
possibly can.
it's amp guard and it's some what drum line is it that he always? It's not Clearbrook. Who's the drum line? It's not Clearbrook. Who is it? Or is it Clearbrook? I don't know. Anyway, it'll come to me after the podcast.
What?
The drum line that we always say, and you're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. You're like, forget who it is. It's not. It's. I forget who it is. Anyway, we'll say
every drum line ever.
Yeah.
It's probably Ayala.
Well, no.
No, it wasn't something.
No, your screaming phase that you just scream their names out as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You do that for amp, and there's a indoor percussion.
It was an indoor group slash band. It was a marching band too. It was the same group, but I don't know. We'll say it next week, and I'm like, bah, bah, bah. And I was like, yeah, that's what it was. So let us know who your favorites are going into. If you march guard, who you marching with, you're gonna be up there. How you celebrating Debbie Week? It's a really, really cool time. We call it the family reunion when we go out there. So
here at the family reunion,
it's a thing, man. It's a thing. You get to see everybody and catch up and just be around folks who love the activity just as much as you do, if not more. And so it's super dope that it's in Dayton, Ohio. Of all places.
Has been and will be.
Yeah, like it's and Dayton opens up their doors. I mean, when you driving into Dayton, as soon as you get past Cincinnati, you will start seeing things WGI oriented. And when you drive,
you're going to see it in Cincinnati now with them having something like Xavier
Cincinnati
and Northern Kentucky.
So it's very cool. So like if you can get to Dayton or get to at least Truist Arena or somewhere, like that's even cool too. Like just to go and watch and just be a part of it. But if you can't, flow marching is your best job, and flow marching, sponsor. I'll let your boys. Anyway, but yeah. So let us know in the comments below who you're looking forward to seeing, and if you're excited about all of that's going to be happening, because it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really, really awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And then I get to do it next week. Yay! All right. So, fellas, you got anything else? Good.
Done.
All hearts and minds clear. So you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So lots of different ways you can find us. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let people know that, and let us know that you're enjoying what you're listening to. My name is Sid. For Will, Chris, and Zach. It's been another episode of On the Back Hash. Take care. Watch some championships.
Spin your heart out.
Spin your heart out.
Spin it with your heart.
All right. Eyes wide open. Good skill. Catch it.
Watch your free hand.
Yeah, keep it in the toaster. Keep it in the toaster.
Hey.
No.
Oh, no!
Don't you bring that in here.
Get 4,000 of those a day.
Zach's out.
Not just for finals, a day.
What you talking about? We're gonna be at 5,000 before Scholastic A's over with.
Yep, because everybody's got to do their own special one.
They done remixed
Like,
it.
when did we add stomping and
They got to
booty
do
bumping?
theirs. Texas got to do their special one, especially for the Texas group. California has one now.
Like, I'm gonna need a program. If you'll turn to page 5, here comes the Texas groups. Okay, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
Yeah. So it's awesome though. It's pretty cool that they do it. And the drum lines, they started doing something in a regional actually.
Oh God.
It's dumb. Well, it's kind of dumb, but
Well,
when they're reading off the sponsors, they do a unison clap. I don't know why it started.
Oh, they do.
Why
They
do
really
a lot
do.
of things in the percussion world
They
start?
really do.
I'd say we just say why is percussion, and then that's how you just stop it there. And
So,
why is percussion?
but you know how percussions are. We get in the rhythm, and then they say a long name, and they're clapping in the middle of the name, and it's like, and then of course the announcer is like, all of your percussion instructors are very embarrassed right now. So, and I'm just like, accurate. So
Go back to the truck.
you need to hit that man. All right. So once again, for all of us, to all you guys, enjoy the weekend, and we are
Dut.
That's
Dut.
out.
Out. Out.
Bye bye, Coach Cal.